Well, who would have thought that Xbox Game Pass would not be a good thing for developers? It may be a good thing for players, but most of the games on there are shovelware garbage. And a lot of these people who buy this service try to justify it and say, well, at least I get to play all these games, and we all know you were never going to play any of these games. You were never going to buy any of these games. You're just saying that to justify the purchase of this trash subscription service. And this service also causes players to not want to buy games. So developers don't even want to put their games on Xbox if gamers aren't going to buy it. And on top of that, when the developers put their games on Xbox Game Pass, they lose money because nobody's buying the game at full price. Wow, who would have thought? This business is not sustainable at all. And we have an article from VGC that talks about how Game Pass is a bad thing. And the headline reads, Xbox games in Game Pass can lose 80% of premium sales, it's claimed. 80% of sales can be ripped away because your game is on Game Pass. And the paycheck that Microsoft gives developers, it might not even cover the amount of money that they would have gotten if they just sold the game on Xbox. But at the same time, Xbox players do not buy games. You guys do not buy anything. You wait till it comes to your garbage subscription service. So that alone stops developers from thinking about putting their games on Xbox. Because why would they waste their time if nobody's going to buy it? And on top of that, there's not that many people who even have an Xbox. Everybody who wants a console buys a PlayStation. Xbox is a dying brand. Nobody cares about it anymore. It's garbage. Putting Phil Spencer in charge was a mistake. Phil Spencer does not understand what made the Xbox brand popular. It was his tough, manly, masculine, dude bro console. Xbox Live got popular because people were talking shit in Call of Duty. That is what made online gaming so popular in general. Not just Xbox, it's online gaming in general. It was fun back in the day. That's when people had spines. That's when everybody wasn't a fucking pussy. That you can talk shit and not get banned. Nowadays, you will get banned for talking shit on Call of Duty. Because everybody's so weak and pathetic. And Phil Spencer does not understand what made the Xbox brand so popular. He just makes everything queer and feminine. You got Gears of War, that's about some ugly Mexican bitch. You got the upcoming Fable game with this hideous female protagonist. You got the hideous Perfect Dark Joanna, who was sexy in the previous games. Now they're making her ugly in his new games. He does not understand the brand at all. But whatever, I guess. Let's just continue reading the article. Xbox games included in the Game Pass subscription service can reportedly expect to lose up to 80% of their predicted premium sales. That's according to business journalist Christopher Dring, who added that for multi-platform sales, inclusion in Game Pass can drive PS5 sales. Anecdotally, games that are in Game Pass can expect to lose around 80% of its expected premium sales on Xbox, Dring wrote. That's the figure that gets thrown around. It's less if it's a big mainstream release, but genuinely, look at how low Hellblade 2 charted, or where Indiana Jones came, or even Starfield. Game Pass clearly hurts sales of those titles on Xbox. You forgot to mention, those games suck! Especially Hellblade 2 is just another movie game with no gameplay. They're trying to copy Sony and not have gameplay in their games. Those games are terrible. Some people like Indiana Jones, I don't care. I don't give a fuck. A lot of people expected Indiana Jones to be like Uncharted and have these huge shootouts, jumping from building to building, falling out of helicopters, explosions, and it's hard to do that when the game is slow and it's in first person and it's mostly puzzles. Oh well, the game sucks. And don't even get me started on Starfield. That was a disgrace. That was an embarrassment on Bethesda's name. Is anybody excited for the Elder Scrolls 6 after the disaster of Starfield? That game was another buggy, broken mess. It was lame, ugly, boring. The gameplay sucked. Each planet was not this unique experience like Todd Howard claimed. That dude is a snake oil salesman. He'll say anything to sell his game. Fuck that dude. I do not trust anything that man makes after Starfield. But of course the game sales were hurted because nobody's bought the game. So it wasn't just the fact that the game sales were hurted because of Game Pass. That is the majority reason. Because nobody's buying the game if they're playing it on the subscription. Those games are god awful as well. But let's continue reading the article. But if it's a game on multiple platforms, it can be beneficial. That surge in players on one Xbox can have a strong impact on sales on PlayStation, for instance. Dring went on to say that he feels torn on the effectiveness of subscription models and is highly dependent on the genre and type of game. Try being an indie game on Xbox now that's not on Game Pass. And that is exactly what I was saying before. I've said that plenty of times. If you're not on Game Pass, your game is not going to sell well because nobody wants to buy anything on Xbox. They just want to wait till it comes to the game subscription service. Buy a fucking video video game, Xbox players. Buy it. If you're not a well-known developer or a big AAA game with a lot of marketing, you're not going to do well on Xbox because nobody knows who you are and nobody's going to buy your game because it's not on Game Pass. And Microsoft is not going to give a deal out to every single company who makes a video game. So if you don't get a deal with Microsoft to put your game on Game Pass for how many amount of money, I don't know. I don't know what these contracts look like. I don't know if there's information about it on the internet. But if you're not even getting a paycheck from Microsoft to put your game on Game Pass, it's not even worth it to put your game on a fucking platform. Because Xbox broke boys don't want to buy anything. You just want everything to come for your $10, $15 subscription. And most of it is garbage anyway. So indie developers do not have much hope on that platform. But let's continue reading the article. But also, getting people to play your game in 2024/2025 is so hard. And subscriptions gets games in front of lots of people, he continued. We know from data that there are a lot of people that only play Call of Duty. And if some of those people decide to get Call of Duty this year via Game Pass, and those very same people took the opportunity to play other Game Pass games they wouldn't have otherwise played, it's hard to argue that's a bad thing. And that is the end of the article. And like I said before, if you're a small developer, it might not even be worth it to put your games on Xbox if you're not going to go to Game Pass. And it still might not even do well because most people that subscribe to Game Pass are not playing everything. So they might play a few other games. Like he mentioned, if they buy Game Pass for Call of Duty, they might try other games as well. Doesn't mean they're going to try the majority of games. It just means they might try some of them. So other developers can still get fucked over. Because who would have thought? If you tell people they don't have to buy any games, they just have to wait till it comes to Game Pass and they won't buy any games, then the developers don't get any money. So it's not worth their time to even bother with Xbox. On top of the fact that they have a small user base compared to PlayStation. So you don't even have that many potential customers to even buy your game in the first place. So why should developers even bother? I would say it's not even worth it. If you're looking to release your game on console, go straight to PlayStation. Xbox is not worth anyone's time. They are fucking over developers. Because Xbox broke boys don't want to buy anything. So, oh well, I guess. Another nail in the coffin for Xbox. Developers don't even want to waste their time, which means gamers are going to have less games to play on your platform. You already don't have big AAA games like Black Myth Wukong, which is the biggest game of 2024, because you're holding back game development in the whole gaming industry with your cheap Xbox Series S console, which is $300, and can't run a game like Black Myth Wukong, so you're holding back the whole industry by forcing developers to develop games for your cheap, garbage $300 box. And when that game can't work on it, you just don't get the game. That is it. You're just not playing Black Myth Wukong. Oh well, you should have just did a single console like PlayStation. They have a digital version of their PS5, but it's the same console. I don't know why you didn't just do that. You have to be annoying and make two consoles for developers to make games for. And one of them is weak as fuck. So you're an idiot, Microsoft, for doing something like that. So oh well for Xbox. This brand is down the fucking toilet. It's not as good as it was a decade ago with the 360 generation. That was over a decade ago. And now the Xbox brand is a shell of its former self. So I don't have much else to say. I don't want to keep repeating myself. So Microsoft and Xbox, go fuck yourself.